Hey judges, I'm Amir, this is my wife Elishba. We're both CS students, and bike theft is a huge problem in Seattle. There's about 2,366 cases actually reported. Just this month alone, there were 2. And we took a data source from Socrata and we mapped all the bike theft data right on a map. So if you look over here, we can zoom in and show you all of Seattle. And then and if you zoom in and click on the actual dot itself, it will also show you kind of the police report that was here. So why is this important? We actually got out and we talked to a bunch of cyclists, both here at the Hackathon that had their bikes stolen, and we went to Gasper Parks and asked people that were cycling over there. And what we found was that people are generally aware where thefts occur, namely University of Washington District as well as Capitol Hill are unsafe to leave their bikes parked. But what they love to find out is when thefts occur. So what we like to do is actually take this data and partner up with an insurance agency. So Elishba called State Farm Insurance this morning to try to talk to some of their agents. And I have a friend who actually works for the Seattle Police Department, and we talked to him as well, and we said that what can we do to kind of make Seattle cyclists' lives safer and more helpful besides just the data that you see on the map. And he wants to help people be more aware of potential bike thefts in neighborhoods where there isn't a lot of crime reported. And so we're looking at taking this information together and combining it with other crowdsourced bike thefts and partnering up with both the police department as well as insurance agencies for revenue potential. And that's Save Your Bike.
So how do you make money, and then how do you get to the 10,000 people to pay you?
Yeah, so our revenue potential here is one, if we look at selling the data that we have to insurance agencies. So we look at combining all of it and presenting it. Number 2, to get to our first 1,000 users, we already talked to 10 so far. And these are all cyclists that were either at the Hackathon or we talked to in parks nearby. So we want to continue spreading that by partnering up with local bike shops in Seattle and then reaching out to bike communities and bike meetups to get them beta testing this platform and grow from there.
Don't the insurance companies already have this data?
The insurance agencies actually do, but what's interesting is bikes are so small in terms of what actuaries look at that they feel that there's not much potential unless they're actually insuring people that have like really expensive bikes. So, I mean, of all the cyclists that are in this room over here, how many of you guys actually have insurance for your bike? Okay, Bob, we should talk.
It's covered if you have a homeowner's policy.
Yeah, actually,
The
so
contents of your home, including your bikes,
yes,
even if they're not on your premises, are already covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's for, if you don't have that homeowner's insurance, then you're exposed.
exactly,
Right.
yeah.
So do you have a sense for how big that market is?
No, I'd love to find out some more. And what I'll do is I'll continue to talk to people that have insurance, like yourself, and then I'll talk to other people that are cyclists over here that don't have insurance that could potentially look at getting an agency involved and adding it to their homeowners insurance policy as well.
Now, where do you see beyond bikes? Where's this massively awesome outside of bikes?
Oh, this is huge. So there's, surprisingly a lot of theft in Seattle, which is bad, but it's also great for us. So we're looking at, telling people like where, they should park their boats, what they should do for their houses as well as their cars, right? So vandalism, for example. We could take all this data and kind of expand it to those things and provide that data source to insurance agencies that look at that. If we can shave a fraction of what the actuaries have in terms of what they produce, we could potentially save them millions of dollars as well as help people that are interested in insuring more things in their life.
So on the other side of this, if I don't like buying expensive bikes like Bob, I might go to Craigslist and buy a bike on Craigslist, but I don't know if it's stolen or not. So one of the ways that the bicycles get turned over is on Craigslist.
Exactly.
So can I know on Craigslist whether the bike I'm looking at is one of the ones you've got in your database?
Yeah, so if you look at all the reports, my display is not showing up over here, but each one actually is categorized by the make of the brand when people file those reports for the police officers, as well as basically the color and kind of the size of the tire. So those descriptions, I mean, if you're able to match those up, could give you a better indication of whether that bike is actually stolen or not.
Tell the police where the stolen bikes are.
Exactly, yeah.
One clarification, so you said that there's something like 2,366, right, a year, is that a year?
No, that's total. So we took this data source, and this is the entire Excel spreadsheet.
For what time period?
Oh, so they
Like
started all the way
ever?
from like 2013 is when they first started.
Okay,
Yeah.
because you followed that up with, and there have already been two.
2 this month. So in April, there were 2 reports that were
So
put there.
if you extrapolate that, that's something like a couple dozen a
Yes.
year, which doesn't seem like a very compelling case.
No, unless you really love that bike.
No, that's right. Well, you'll find maybe 2x that number will buy insurance from you, so it's probably, I mean, just thinking about the quantifying the market opportunity for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love you guys to figure out where this sort of intelligence using, police data or other public data can be predictive and on a large scale, right? That isn't bikes, which if you bought a $7,000 bike, you care a lot about that.
Yeah.
Most people don't. And it's a small number that gets stolen. So it doesn't feel like a massive market opportunity yet.
No, exactly. Which our value really lies in taking the data that's out there in addition to bikes and finding ways to present that to the insurance agencies for people to kind of add to their homeowner's policy and insure different things.
What percentage of bike thefts are reported, and what do you do to find out the ones that aren't?
Yeah, really small. So when I talked to my friend who's in the police Seattle Academy, it's really the ones that actually file those police reports are the ones that are making those kind of investments because they really care about their bike. A majority of the ones will put out kind of like ads on Craigslist with their pictures of their bike, but they won't go through the whole formality. So I'm estimating something like less than 10% are actually doing it. The benefit of this is that if people are able to see in a certain neighborhood where there's more thefts occurring, it will encourage people to kind of be a bit more proactive. So similar to what Waze did for people that were driving on a freeway and had a police officer or undercover cop reported, people are a bit more aware to drive safer. Cyclists, hopefully, by looking at Save Your Bike, will be more interested in looking at their bikes with the parking safely with a keener eye.